How would you like to get found in AI searches? Now, you may have already started using AI in order to search for stuff. And wouldn't it be great if your business was found every time someone looked for a business like yours in ChatGPT, for example, or other similar AI searches? Well, Wes Towers will tell us how to do this. And I'm very interested. The reason I'm very interested is because some people have already found me through AI or ChatGPT searches. And my podcast was found, and I didn't even try to get found. So now if I implement some amazing techniques, then who knows, I will get to the top of searches. That'll be absolutely amazing. So tell us, Wes, how can entrepreneurs do this?
AI Superwoman podcast with Lily Patrascu shares the world's most innovative AI tools and processes to go from technophobe to AI pro, attract leads, close sales, automate your business, enhance productivity, and deploy AI agents to do your work.
Yeah, so it's a tricky process in some ways, but simple in a whole lot of other ways. So we've done website design and development and SEO for many years now. I run my own business here in just outside of Melbourne in Australia, Uplift 360, and we do search engine optimization, and we've done that a long time, but now we're calling it search everywhere optimization, simply because people are using online tools and AI to do research and find businesses and find out more about businesses. But the good news is a lot of the principles that were in the old school search engine optimization are now applying to these AI large language models. And it's a fun space to play in. Back in the day, people tried to cheat their way to the top of Google by tricky methods, but those methods always Google would find out and change the rules and make it more difficult to cheat your way to the top. For those who were ethical and earned their way to the top with great quality content that served the end need, they did really well in the search engine optimization in more recent times. But now those same rules apply. So you've got to think about what you're publishing in your own website, in your blog, in your news, wherever the case may be. Think about that content as educating AI. So you're training AI about your business and answering the various needs and questions people might have. So it's conversational. So ChatGPT or Gemini or whatever people use, Claude, Grok, whatever it is, it's all kind of the same. They're conversational and they're answering people's specific questions about potentially your business. So it's exciting times if you can show up and be found in that new method.
Thank you. So are there any secrets that you can share with us or hacks that can get a business ranked in AI searches or large language models? LLMs, and give us an example of how this would work out. Just pick any business and what would they need to do to get to the top of the searches so that they appear. If let's say someone was to look for a book publishing business in London or in the US, let's say, how can I make sure my one comes up to the top?
Yeah, so it's because everyone's experience with whatever AI platform they're using is tailored to them, because it learns and it starts to understand. It's not a fixed, it's not like Google back in the day where you would rank number one, for example, and you'd always be number one for everyone. It will vary from user to user. So it's become challenging to measure precisely what phrases and what people are searching for and those sorts of things. But the goal is to publish. The way we do it is to publish frequently to client blogs, but the danger is sometimes people take shortcuts and will just write generic kind of content. There's tools to do that. You can even just do it straight through ChatGPT, and they'll just say, write me a blog post about blah, 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 and they'll publish it, and it's generic. So it's when you do it that way, it's just the average sum total of what everyone else has already said about a topic. So you're not adding any value. So to be found in the AI platforms, large language models, you've got to add something new of value, something of substance. That can become challenging, but the easier ways to do it are to think about unique things that only you can talk about. So if you're in book publishing, for example, you would speak about this precise books you've published and the locations and the authors and things that are unique to that one business that nobody else really can claim authority in. So it's all about claiming the authority in a broad range of things that your ideal clients might be searching for, and publishing frequently on those touch points. That's why blogs do really well, because these are conversational models. So if you're addressing the questions people have in the field, then you'll do really well. So we had I think you mentioned an example. So I think it was 2 weeks ago now, a client rang up and he left a message. Hey, I want to talk to you about this, what the service you've done for us, search engine optimization or search everywhere optimization. But I hope it's okay, because he didn't say it was positive or negative. So I rang him back the next day. It was quite late. And he said, thanks so much. We got found on ChatGPT for a client. They searched for, it's a particular kind of consulting he does. They were chatting to their ChatGPT. They probably had a long conversation to get to this point, but they asked, who's the best in Australia for this particular consulting model? And he came up. So this was a lead, an opportunity, kind of on the other side of it, like right up north of Australia. Australia's kind of a big landmass. So it was right up north, and we're in Melbourne down the south. So quite a distance, but because ChatGPT said that he was the best in Australia, he got the contract. It was $140,000 contract. So those kind of wins are really fantastic. It's difficult to measure the success. Back in the day with Google optimization, you would rank in 1 to 10 or something like it. Changed all the time, but say you rank number 1 and you get a click, and that goes through to your website, and then they buy something. So you measure the results. So it was so simple back then, but now the answer is in Google itself. So that's difficult to measure. So you might get a brand mention, and that's building authority and trust in your business, but it's not measurable. But you can see in Google Analytics that people are clicking through ChatGPT in the sources, but the numbers are so much lower than what the reality is. If you're getting clicks through from ChatGPT, it means you're probably showing up for a broad range of brand mentions as well. So it's fun times to be playing. So
what do you think happened, for example, because a few people contacted me because they actually found me on ChatGPT. And I'm saying, like, they found some of my podcasts on ChatGPT.
Yeah.
What do you think I did that actually led me there? Is it because I'm creating a lot of original content? Or what do you think?
It's absolutely your original content. And the fact that, as I said, we're calling it search everywhere optimization. You're doing a number of things to build your personal authority. You're doing a broad range of podcasts. So that's just syndicating, and you'll probably publish them to a broad range of platforms, YouTube and all the podcasting platforms. That message is getting syndicated broadly, and you'll have different topics and so on, and you're touching on different points all the time, depending on who the guests are. But there's always a theme. So you're being recognized as the leading authority in a broad range of topics simply because you're syndicating messages. And the beauty of what you're doing with the podcasting is not only are you sharing the message broadly, the guests will be sharing. Hopefully, they take the initiative to share the message as well. So your brand and reputation is continually building. So you'll be showing up on a whole heap of search people conversations in ChatGPT, Gemini, Claude. You'll be showing up all over the place, and you don't even know it. You'll just start recognizing. People are getting in contact, and when you ask, how did you find me? Grok recommended you, or I searched for such and such, and Claude recommended you because I was looking for the best, blah, 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 or I'm wanting to write a book and I needed tips on whatever the case may be. And here's someone who's done exactly what I need to do because I had a big conversation with ChatGPT, and here's the person who's the authority and it's done it before. It's got the recognition. So you're doing search everywhere optimization, possibly not without even that being the intent. Maybe the intent was just to share the message, So well done, Lily. You're doing a fantastic job. I've seen a number of your podcasts now, so
Thank
you're
you.
doing really well.
Can I ask you, for example, are there any hacks that I can use so I get found in AI searches? And I'll give you an example. Okay. Now, let's say if I, as the searcher of book publishing programs, let's say I want to be an author and I'm not an author yet. Maybe I would look for book publishers or editors or whatever, right? Or graphic designers or whatever. And would it help as a business if, let's say, if I put on my website, that my business is in the top 10 of whatever book publishing companies in the world, whatever, assuming that was true, okay, or I considered at least my opinion was that this was true, would it help? Because let's say if people were to search in ChatGPT, like what are the top 10 book publishing companies in my area that are dealing with this topic, and then if I had like a phrase on my website that says it, would that help me rank? Would that be one hack?
To a degree, yeah. So go on. I cut you off.
And if, let's say, no, what other hacks could someone do? Give us some secrets, because we're looking for some really exciting, very juicy stuff that you can tell us to practically implement. Yeah.
So what I would say is there's no real way of cheating your way to the top, but a genuine hack a couple of things you can do to get there. So the large language models are pulling information from online in a broad range, and they're kind of understanding all of it because of that, they understand language and making a determination. If you're being mentioned in the places you can control, firstly, so I would say make sure your website message is really clear, concise, and compelling, precisely what your service offering is, so it really understands, and drill down to the different service areas. If you've got multiple, one service per page, so you might have a series of service pages or product pages, whatever the case may be. So that chunk of content is really clearly understood to be what you offer, but then to build the authority around that, so that piece shows up. So you mentioned potentially publishing something about being in the top 10 of whatever the case may be. That sort of information is better served not so much in your main website sales pages, but the news or the blog. So they're the areas you can control, and your own social media. I would say get your website right, because that's the core place of your company, and you control the message. And it's not a noisy space. Like social media is so noisy, you can publish there as well. But I would say syndicate your message far and wide as best you can through social platforms. Use tools to syndicate. You're doing lots of podcasts, so it's video recorded. Those sorts of things can be syndicated broadly through tools like Opus, which is a great AI video editing. So it makes the reels really, really well. So it'll find the most compelling snippets, and it does a pretty good job, and it will rank them, and then you can publish them. And sometimes you need to edit like the transcript a little bit if the spelling's not quite right, but normally they're really close to perfect, and you can just syndicate that broadly. So you build your core foundational, that's kind of your mothership, your website, but then you have the same messaging in as far and wide as you can. They're the things you can control, but ideally PR, like the old school PR, getting mentioned by other authorities, that builds trust. In the real world, it builds trust, but also AI understands that too. So if there's some sort of, if you can get mentioned on someone else's blog, for example, or those sorts of things, it just builds trust in your brand. So other people saying you're in the top 10 of whatever the service might be. So yeah, hopefully that sort of answers the question. So the one thing I think is a misleading thing. So a lot of people say if you do your content writing in a ChatGPT, for example, it's never going to be ranked. That's not really true. And to think about that logically, why is an AI tool going to believe an AI produced piece of content is less valuable? So a lot of people are saying that, but I think it's a false assumption. As long as you're adding unique value, something of something that's different. So you can't just crunch out generic content. Of course you can't. But if you're adding something that's unique and specifically what you do, you might have a particular process or service or something that's uniquely yours, then you can rank even if it's assisted with an AI writing platform. So as long as it's unique and specific to what you do, and so that's one thing. The message has to be unique, but it's ideal to keep it in your brand voice as well. So make sure you get your styling right, so it's consistently in your voice and your brand. So when we're helping clients, we will create a voice document which is really, really quite lengthy, but we use it as an AI prompt to educate the platform to write in a certain way. So they're the wins, and I guess that's the misleading thing. ChatGPT isn't going to hurt your rankings unless it's just all generic content, because that adds no value to the world.
Thank you. Tell us 3 case studies of entrepreneurs or companies you've worked with that have started to get found in AI searches with your help. And also, what did you personally do to get found in AI searches?
Yeah, so the first one that springs to mind, just because I was working on it yesterday. So a carpet company in Melbourne, Carpet Melbourne Direct. So we'd been doing search engine optimization for them for, it might be nearly 10 years even, it could be, it might be 7 years, something, I don't know, but a long time. So we've been on this path of helping them produce quality content that gets found in Google for all this time. And we realized, okay, we need to start thinking, where's the traffic? The traffic actually diminished. So there was less traffic because there's less need to visit a website when someone's researching, because they get the answer in the tool they're using. But we found through the source that he's getting fairly strong clicks through from ChatGPT. So that means he's showing up lots of times. So that's a massive win for him. So he said at some stage that the phone was ringing quite a lot for him, but I don't think he'd been asking the question of where people have found him and so on. So that's one thing I think everyone should be asking. There's oftentimes when someone makes an inquiry, they've had multiple touch points. They've jumped on ChatGPT and they've found you a bunch of times for what they're researching. They've seen you on social media because they had a little look at that. They found you on the website, and then they make an inquiry. So to ask where's the first point of contact is a really important thing. So that's one case study. The second one is the consultant I already shared that with, who sold the $140,000 contract. Another one would be who was a good one? So a cladding company, also in Melbourne. So they do the cladding on buildings and so on. And so we recognised they're getting quite a lot of inquiry through ChatGPT as well. We could see that because they're getting clicks. So if they're getting a few clicks, they're showing up a bunch of times. And because there was a lot of concern around that industry, we found that, with the cladding fires, it was quite a while ago now, but still when people are getting cladding, there's concerns about that. So people do a lot of research before they make a buying decision. So that was great that we've got so much content in there addressing the standards. Here in Australia, we've got probably mostly in the world, there's standards about cladding because of all those fires that they had a little time ago. So to have the right content in your website that addresses the concerns of the end client is really powerful. So, but for me, so I've just started podcasting. So that's one of something. That's why I'm here as well. I enjoy speaking. So I think getting your message syndicated as far and wide as you can by the means that feel natural and comfortable for you. So I'm a people person. So I like talking to people and engaging, and I like people. So I like talking to people, and it feels natural for me to be on podcasts just because I enjoy it. But the secondary thing, the beneficial thing for that is my message is being shared in different contexts to different audiences on my, just simply by investing the half an hour or an hour, whatever the case may be for the podcast, and then that message is going far and wide. I found a number of inquiries. The curious thing is sometimes I'll always try and find out how they first found me. And sometimes they can't remember because they've been researching for so long. They've been thinking, oh, I need a website. We do construction niche businesses. And now they won't really remember precisely, but then when it's sort of drill in, they'll say, "Oh, well, I was talking to ChatGPT about how they might have started out, how do I build my own website?" And then they think, "Oh, well, maybe I just get it done for me. Who specialises?" Then they've looked at me in social. I can see you've been connected with me on LinkedIn for a while. Maybe that was the first connection. So it's a fun time to be in marketing because the sales funnel isn't linear anymore. You could kind of track them into, the sales funnel into an end client, but now they're just sort of searching all over and they're finding their own path to you. So it's an exciting time.
Thank you. So can I ask you, would it help, first of all, to know what clients are searching for? And if so, where do you find this information? Because let's say before you could find this information in Google Keyword Planner and in Answer Socrates, or there's another one that I can't remember right now. But basically, you could find out what the public in general was searching for in terms of the problems for certain things that they had. And then you would come up with your solution and you would maybe like write an article or a blog about it. Or you would do paid ads to target those specific questions they were searching for. So where do you find out what they're actually searching for in ChatGPT so that you can sort of perhaps put that information in blogs and articles on your own website? I imagine that's the strategy. Yes?
Yeah. So that's that. Yeah. So it's kind of similar at the starting point of the research process that you're describing. That's still relevant and true but it's almost like a proxy now. So you're getting the key phrases, service and location. So plumber, Melbourne, it might be as a great keyword. So that's the old method of keyword research, which is still relevant, but it's also just so broad that people might be searching. So instead of searching for plumber Melbourne, they might be searching for, I've got a leaking toilet and this is the brand of toilet and this is it's an urgent thing, who can help me, whatever the case may be. It'll be full sentence. So they're searching full sentences. So the trick and the hack, I suppose, would be, and this is what we're doing a lot, is taking that initial keyword list, which if clients have been doing SEO for a long time, they've already got that target list, and then just putting it in ChatGPT and saying, use this keyword and translate it into questions people may be searching in a tool like ChatGPT. It knows what people are searching for already. So use the tool itself to define a whole bunch of topics because it's conversational. So you're taking the keyword, you're getting some ideas, and then you'll go, right, well, a bunch of these sort of questions or titles that people are searching for could be converted into a good, interesting sounding topic or something that resonates with the business. So use the tool itself to guide you in what topics to cover. So think about keywords less as something, a specific phrase you need to use precisely in your web content. Think of it more so as a topic that you're going to cover, and you're going to cover it in a broad range of ways because and the AI knows the context of what words mean. So you haven't got to mention the exact phrase anymore. You've just got to be talking about that topic frequently through your blog or whatever the case may be.
Thank you. Does that mean that, let's say I have a book publishing business, does that mean that first I would need to do the research in Google Keyword Planner or Answer Socrates or a similar tool? And then from there, I would put this list of keywords into ChatGPT and ask, what are the types of sentences that people tend to search in ChatGPT related to this topic? And if there are some phrases that people are searching for, give me some ideas as well, even if they are not necessarily related to these particular phrases. Is that the kind of thing? And then once once you have that list of sentences people might be searching for, then help me to create, I don't know, 10 or 100 viral article titles and give me some ideas as well of what I would include in them to answer those specific questions, that kind of thing?
Yeah, exactly right. So you wouldn't put the whole list in at one time. You'd just select one of the keywords, and then you would be building a cluster of topic ideas around that one cluster, because you'll get so many, just from one phrase, you'll get so many suggestions of things you can cover, and you can't cover everything all at once. So you would say, okay, I want to be found for book publishing. So you'd say to give you conversational topic ideas around book publishing, so you can be found in tools like ChatGPT, and it'll give you a bunch of questions, because it's conversational, so people will be talking in questions. So it'll give you a bunch of questions, and you can flip those into meaningful headlines first. So the headline is so important, because if the headline doesn't entice people, you don't want to be too clickbaity, I suppose, but you do need to entice people to want to read that piece of content. So that's for Google's benefit, but also the AI platforms are going to just glean the information from that massive piece. They might just take a snippet of information and recognize your brand as the authority in that space. So.
Thank you. One last question. How do I choose between like a clickbaity type title for an article, or even for a video or for a podcast, versus something that people actually search for? For example, let's say what you don't know about how to knit faster, and then versus how to knit faster. Right? How do I choose those two so that I can have the highest possible viral and searchable title that will get more reach?
Yeah, so there's always a bit of a balancing act, and it depends what's comfortable with your own brand. I would say prioritize the human user, so what the human user would more likely want to read. So that's the more compelling title that sounds interesting and engaging, and that's not necessarily just for now. That's to future proof, because thinking about AI, it's artificial intelligence. It's trying to replicate what a human would do. So if it's engaging for a human, that's kind of where we're going to end up anyway. So the titles, if they're compelling and engaging and attract clicks, that's the best thing to do. But within the content of the piece itself, that's when you can delve deep into the specifics of what you're doing. And that's where information will be gleaned from the AI platforms as well. So you get the best of both worlds that way.
Thank you. Tell us where entrepreneurs can connect with you.
Sure. So the uplift360.com.au is the website. AU with the Australian business, and from there you'll find all the social media platforms, or you'll even find my personal LinkedIn. So I'm happy to connect with anyone on LinkedIn as well, so just reach out there and we can have a conversation.
Follow me for more AI productivity tools.